Hey Fan Gang, welcome to Helldivers Quest Drop 5. Let us get right into this. With Part 1, Acer Pass, the Storage Yards, on June 11th, 2184, part of Operation Saving Minuteman. Quietly, you whisper and draw the lone knife Tango left on your rigging. Automaton workers clang their hammer arms on the boulders outside, croaking their synthesized cadence that pierces the thin wall. Your squaddies, Sierra 2 and Tango 3, step carefully on the abandoned colonial building's floor to avoid kicking over any trash or debris. They stop short of the only door in and out, readying their rifles as you creep up to the side of the oblong entry. Hearing the clicking and clanking of their weapons, you quickly wave for them to wait and be quiet, then slowly push your palm against the door. Chilled and damp air gusts in with intense rays of bright and oversaturated blood light, striking your retinas. While trying to blink through the momentary blindness, all you can do is press yourself up against the wall and wait. Through your blurred and stinging vision, you see the dim shades of Tango and Sierra raise their weapons. Two single bangs flare out of Sierra's muzzle. A click follows them, then a furious mag dump through the ajar door panel and wall which you throw yourself away from. In shockingly few seconds, her prototype Liberator carbine has dumped its mag, which is when you notice the whining of Tango's sickle charging up. Controlled bursts of cracking golden bolts barrage the automatons outside before he stops firing, heat sinks hissing. You freeze on the floor as your vision returns. No more bot cadence outside. No noises either. While you pick yourself up and draw your carbine, Sierra's boot is the first through the door. The kick knocks the ovoid panel, hinges and all, off the wall to the dirt outside. They launched a flare! She yells outside, we're slamming a fresh magazine into her weapon. Tango is right behind her. No, it ain't. Ah, hell, it's only not Roz. Idiots! I told you to be quiet, you yell, hauling yourself up by the crumbling wall and staggering out into the local night cycle. The sun fell while you were inside, only for one of the planet's parent gas giants to rise above the horizon. Well, shit, Tango says without much care. Was bound to happen sooner or later. Sorry, I'm sorry, Sierra squeals. Then, another light enters the reddened sky. It barely illuminates the ground with the gas giant beaming down as a singularly baleful eye. But from your angle, you can see it against the black of space. There's our flare. Where are we going? Tango is scanning around, the clanking and synthesized croaks of automatons growing louder from the surrounding complex. You grab Sierra by her cybernetic arm and pull her with you. Already a step ahead, Tango anticipates her movements. South, over the berm. You're on point, Tango. Get us to that missile base. It is from the top of the berm that you spot the first clankers reacting to your intrusion. Through the maze that Tango snuck through, dozens of troopers charge. They are followed by the larger Devastators, their tall frames glinting between obstructions. None of them have proper weapons, when you steal a glance at the troopers running through the boulder-strewn field. Most have limbs specialized for some menial task or another. The Devastators, plodding after their smaller kin, emerge with industrial tools or carrying rigs attached. After pushing Sierra down the hill, you turn and pick off the workers. The single shots sparking out of your Liberator carbine split the cold air, and each one downs a charging trooper. A dozen shots done, you look up and see 24 more, emerging from the maze as well as other surrounding facilities. Then, distant dropships on fast approach rumble through the air. You cut your losses and slide down the south slope of the berm, sprinting to catch up to Tango and Sierra as you three move east behind the long obstruction. Part 2, The Dead Woods. Twin scarlet bolts fry past your left, warming that side before smacking the dreary gray dirt with a meaty thump. Although you have solid cover, you can't help but draw your legs up closer to your chest and back against the dead tree behind you. Another shot from the Scout Strider is expected, yet does not arrive. Listening, its clacking bipedal frame is not stopping closer, though its engine is rumbling idle. Clear, Sierra announces, and you lean out to see her sprinting past the empty Strider to recover her throwing knife from the dead automaton pilot knocked out of the Strider. Keep moving, you order. Tango, how much farther? Oh, round about another big AO and a half. He emerges from a thicket of the planet's parasitic land coral. It is topped by violet blooms that shimmer in the gas giant's scarlet light. Noticing your stare, he only shrugs as you trot to catch up. Sierra, already at your side again. You said that last time, she whines. He shrugs again. I didn't ask the clankers to keep hassling us. You bite back the rebuttal that both of them did and instead move past, continuing to follow your HUD's compass to the southeast. Part 3, the launch facility. Compromising with you, Sierra switches her carbine's fire selector to burst, then proceeds to hose down a dense mob of troopers with the entire mag. The effect is more efficient than if she was shooting a standard Liberator. Maybe. But at least the bursts force better fire discipline. The hail of red energy pelting the dead forest around you withers out into a light hail. You drew their attention, which Sierra now holds as she ducks behind a rigid coral reef to reload. Stepping out into a crouch, you drop the remaining 7 troopers with 7 shots. Another dropship buzzes overhead, engine nacelles puffing and flaring as it enters its approach to the east of you, where an automaton flare is listing back the destroyed clanker that launched it. You scan the area until Sierra sprints up to your side, then go after the dropship together. Tango, they're on you! Do something, I found it, he yells back. Blundering out of the gray tree line just as a batch of 6 Devastators drop, 2 of each type, you finally see what Tango has been up to. With a rope tied around his waist and tethered to the post of a large potable water tank, he is wading out into a quagmire of muck where a mudslide took out half of the launch facility's building. Thankfully, the missile silo itself remains intact. The 2 heavy Devastators sink to their hips immediately. Trying to move closer to Tango only causes them to descend rapidly until their elbow joints become lodged within the mire. It does not stop their heavy rotary guns from firing, blasting heated glops of muck that spray the area all around until their mechanisms jam up. Around the heavies, 4 regular Devastators have a more successful drop. With blasters for right forearms, they draw beads on Tango. He has laid out on the surface of the quagmire, cleverly distributing his body weight on his approach to a half-sunken Helldiver corpse between him and the automaton reinforcements. Sierra does not need instructions for this. Bursts from her carbine tap the Devastator's shoulders, forcing them to turn onto the more immediate threat. As they do, you pelt their white faceplates with their single shots. The first one's head erupts in flames as the other 3 begin volleying shots at Sierra, forcing her to dive away for the nearest tree. You continue plinking, denting the forehead of the next Devastator time after time. The armor finally ruptures, igniting the bulky head cavity within its torso with a spout of orange flame that competes with a waning scarlet gas giant approaching the horizon. The last 2 have turned to you now and open fire. A hail of red energy blasts the muck around you as you dive away for cover behind a rocky outcropping that survived the mudslide. Shards of stone fling off your cover. A loud and wet slap is heard suddenly, then coming fire lessens. Before you can think to peek out to check what happened, Tango's laser rifle whines to life, and he domes the last Devastator, reducing its white skull to slag. Can you get my knife? Sierra asks, fumbling a new magazine into her carbine. Hell nah, Tango answers. Get to the rope and pull me back. I got it. I'm not playing the pronoun game. What is it supposed to be? You ask while jogging around the quagmire to a crumbling ledge of concrete that has had the earth subsumed and eroded beneath it. The launch codes. This poor bastard has them. Lucky for us he failed his mission, huh? Lucky, you grunt, skidding to a stop at the water tank just as Tango finishes wrestling the tablets off the corpse's hip and left bracer. Then, just as you start pulling with Sierra's help, Tango lunges back at the corpse and uses the force of your combined effort to wrench a long, bulky tube out of the consuming muck. It releases with a loud plop, and with the swamp's suction defeated, Tango flies a few yards towards you. The LAS 99 quasar cannon is thrown a little farther, landing upright by its barrel before tilting over onto the concrete ledge. Lucky, Sierra says. Hey, what's a pronoun? It's a noun that means other nouns because it's better than them. Tango speaks in staggered breaths, writhing like a turtle stuck on its back until he flips over and hauls himself the rest of the way to you with a rope. At the ledge, where Sierra's swiping mud off the old support weapon, Tango forgoes her offered hand and passes the 2 tablets he recovered before mounting the ledge himself. You swipe the gray muck off the screens and press the power buttons. Thankfully, like most things issued to you, the tablets are grunt-proof and live longer than most divers. Launch codes and coordinates. A rumbling in the air stops you from considering them further. 4 dropships emerge from the western horizon, loaded with hulks and devastators. Closer to you, the shrill barking of the automaton marching cadence precedes a dazzling swarm of red lights flickering through the tree line. The dropship engines belch with orange flame as they begin their approach regime, slowing over the trees to the north. The heavily armed and armored automatons drop in the distance into the dead forest, knocking down bare trees and coral in the process. They are beyond and east of the Northern Clanker army, which now fills the air with grinding socialist chants. This'll go easier if 2 of us tie them up in the trees for as long as possible, Tango says. One of us can stay behind to get the missile in the air. Yeah, we already have the target coordinates, Sierra adds and reaches for the tablets until you yank them away. One of us, you agree with Tango. Do you know how to convert launch cords to the local grid? He crosses his arms, entering deep thought for a moment. The origin is the bottom? Left? If you show me how to orient the axes and put in negative coords, then sure. It is time for the managed democracy ballots of the past. Ballot 1, Interdiction. You will take Sierra 2 and slow down the automaton force approaching the launch facility, while Tango 3 handles the objective. Or Ballot 2, Launch. You will handle the objective, while Tango 3 takes Sierra 2 to slow down the automaton force approaching the launch facility. And what won months ago was Interdiction Ballot 1. So I'll see everyone next time for Helldivers Quest Drop 6. Take care, Fan Gang. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll see everyone next time.